You know, the craziest thing that I've learned over time is, ironically, the concept of time. That's genuinely what makes a successful person versus an unsuccessful person. And I've really analyzed this a lot and tried to apply this in my life. Not even tried, I just naturally did it. Because when things are starting to move well for you, you're gonna start to see that time is very important. It's very scarce, and you wanna like really hug as much time as possible. Like for me, as I started getting busier, as I started accomplishing more, even recently, as momentum has picked up tremendously and I'm starting to take on new things and new adventures and new businesses, all of that, time is the most valuable thing to me. It takes me longer to respond to messages, right? Depending on what it is, I could see the message and I may scroll and do something else. It's not because I'm trying to be rude or disrespectful to the person, but the reality is, I just don't have the time to go through and respond to something if it's not critical, right? If it's not something that's immediate that needs my attention. And my attention right now is based on the progress that I'm making on two specific projects that I'm doing, which is my personal brand, which is YouTube, or it's my tech company that I'm building, right? So those are the two things that I care about the most. And obviously family, loved ones, all that, cool. But so three things. Those are the three things that I'll really give like my full attention to. But what I'm starting to realize is, and you might feel the same way as you're starting to evolve, as you're starting to get a lot more things put on your plate, you start to get annoyed by people. You start to get annoyed by the fact that you realize people really don't care about time. They don't care about the utilization of their time. It's like time doesn't even exist as value. You realize that 99% of this population, the problem could be solved if they really internalized and were aware that time existed and was a scarce resource. Because I've talked to very wealthy people before, and I like to ask them pointed questions because, again, they like directness. They like when you actually know what you're going to ask. You don't dance around things because you're wasting time. So I'm like, well, what do you care about the most? They're like family and time. Time is the one thing you can't take back. And that's the reason why wealthy people are wealthy, because they're accumulating capital to buy themselves more time, right? Because they don't want to spend time on menial tasks. They don't want to spend time on things that don't matter. So it doesn't make sense for you to care about nothing else but time. And you want to be able to cut off the time wasters. These are literally killers of your success, killers of a successful life, are people who waste your time. Imagine you have that one person that calls you just to talk about things that don't matter, and you have to sit there and listen when you could have been doing something else that either made you more money so you can buy more time. That's the only reason why you want to make money, is to buy time, freedom, right? So it never made sense to me why so many people didn't understand the concept of time. Like, it's the same, I do one-on-one coaching calls with people, right? That basically just analyzing their situation and giving them solutions to their problems. And you might get somebody who literally will book that call and take up that hour-long time for nothing, just to talk nonsense about like no productive conversation whatsoever. And now you start to realize as you care more about time, your responses are a lot more direct. You become more like, you become a savage. Like people are just like, man, he's real direct. You ever see like wealthy people? They're just very direct. They don't beat around the bush. They tell you what it is. And the reason for that is because they don't want to waste time. They don't want to waste words. They don't want to waste anything. The more direct that you are, the less time that you waste. So now when people ask me for advice and I tell them directly what it is, they think it needs to be like an hour-long explanation. Like, no, it's very simple. Life is very simple. We make things so complicated. Another thing, have you noticed wealthy people simplify everything? Nothing is complicated. When you ask them for advice, you ever see those Warren Buffett interviews where they ask them financial advice and it's so simple? And you're like, man, why is it so simple? Because it's making things too complex takes time. It takes time to analyze it. It takes time to be able to implement it. It takes time to digest it. Making it simple, you do it real quick. The key is to simplify things so that you can save time, because time is the one thing that's valuable that you cannot get back. I literally just saw a bird. That's crazy. I like doing videos out here. But anyway, you cannot be wasting time. I've experienced this with so many people that I've been around, where they literally sit around, they do nothing, and they wonder why things aren't working out for them. They wonder why they're not successful. They wonder why they're not making the money they want to make. Because you're wasting time. You're not trying to buy more time. So there's no urgency. See, with wealthy people, when they were on the grind, when they were really working towards what they wanted to get to, where they are now, they cared about their time. They wanted to aggressively make more money to then buy more time, which means employ more people, because you buy other people's time, right? Your time is being bought. That's the crazy part. When you're not at that wealth level to where you have enough money to where you can buy people's time, your time is constantly being bought all the time. So the bills that you have, right? That is basically an entity buying your time, buying the time that you took to make that money from your job. They're buying your time. Everything in this life is about time, because it's the one thing you can literally not get back. And the minute you understand this is the minute that you'll start to get urgency. But you only will get urgency when you understand the concept of time. Every wealthy person thinks in terms of time. That's why they can easily spend $1,000 on a service, because you just saved them time. They value their hour-long time so much that they will give you $1,000. You ever see like wealthy people as clients? Like, I've had it for like training, for example. Like, I've trained very wealthy people. They pay me $500 for an hour. Why? Because it's their time. You just saved them time. They saved them time of actually researching how to train, what to eat, researching how to, like, getting in the gym, getting motivated. Like, they value their time at that much. Or like, you ever see like a wealthy person go get a haircut and they pay like, I don't know, $200, $300, $400, $500, $600. You're like, how does this person pay that much? Because their time is that valuable. And when you waste a person's time that actually values it, it's the worst thing you can do for them. So this is a tip. If you want to get around wealthier people, learn how to save them time and learn how to be more efficient in what you say, how you say it, the communication styles that you have. You have to be direct, pointed, and efficient. That's how everything works in this life is you have to be efficient with your time, because we only have a certain amount of time on this planet and you can never get it back. And on your deathbed, you're going to look back and say, what did I spend my time on this planet doing? That's going to be the craziest question you ask yourself. And you need to be asking yourself that now. Every minute that you wake up, how am I spending this time? Am I productive? Am I making more money to buy more time so that I can spend time with family members, with people? That's how you have to think about things. But no, we think about things like, I have to make money, I have to make money, I have to make money. Why are you making money? What's the purpose behind the money that you want to make? So you can buy luxury things? How is that saving you time? It's not. Why don't you buy more time? And then with that time that you buy, be able to generate more income with that time that you buy by maybe investing in something, right? Maybe in buying things that appreciate in value and then spending that value on the things that you want. You have to start thinking very differently when you want to be successful or wealthy, whatever that looks like. And I'm saying this just from my observations, just from me talking to people who actually have this stuff. I'm not saying I have it. I'm just saying I've talked to enough people to finally realize the blind spots that I have. And hopefully you're watching this video and you're like, oh, I have that blind spot too. I need to start thinking different. This is what I'm doing now. I'm implementing this process where it's like, man, now I analyze my conversations with people. Like, I avoid some people now where it's like, they want to get on the phone. All right, what are we talking about? Hey, how can I help you? You ever realize, like, when you talk to like a wealthy person, they always say like, how can I help you? I always got this when I would be on the phone with them, like, or when I would try to want to set up a call early on when I didn't understand the concept. I'd start talking, I'd start babbling, and they'd interrupt me with, hey man, so how can I help you? How can I provide value? Because they want to get to the point. The point of the conversation is, what value can I provide to you? How can I help you? Be direct. What do you want? Stop sugarcoating. That's the problem with so many people right now. They sugarcoat. They try to dress things up and they make it so hard to decipher intentions. Like, be direct. Yo, this is what I need. And hey, I need this. This is how me and you are going to benefit from this. That's what deals are. Something that benefits both parties. That's a deal. But too many of you want one-sided relationships. You want basically services for free. Like, hey, bro, I need this, I need that. Well, how is that going to benefit the other person? How can you communicate that with the other person to save them time and thinking of whether that makes sense to them or not? The whole point you need to understand, save time, buy time, save time, buy time, save time. That's how it works. But no, you want to waste time. You want to play video games all day. There's a time and place for that. I get it. You want to loosen up. Buy that time to be able to do that by getting everything done early, being more efficient with your time. Make more money for time, to buy back time. You're gonna hustle different. You're gonna go harder when you realize you're buying something that you can never get back. But when you're doing things for materialistic purposes, which I do too, I have a car that I really want. Yeah, that's a motivation for me. But intrinsic motivation for me, because that's extrinsic motivation, and sometimes it doesn't last. It's variable. Intrinsic motivation for me is time. I'm like, dang, bro, like, look how these days are going by. It was just New Year's. Literally, it was just New Year's, and now we're at a point where we're April 20th. Probably by the time you watch this video, April 20th. Like, think about that. It's already been January, February, March, April, 4 months. It's been 4 months already. It feels like yesterday. Time is valuable, and we can't get that time back. That's the scariest part. I turned 27 this month on April 16th. And I realized, I'm like, man, I've just spent 27 years and I'll never get it back. So your hustle becomes different, because you value the one thing that you realize is scarce. Money's not scarce. Money's actually very abundant. It's something that you will always be able to get. It's a weird, I know you're like, man, I'm broke right now. I don't have any money. Trust me. The minute you start to analyze life in terms of time, money will come to you. I'm telling you, it's weird. It's a weird concept, because you actually have a reason to go get the money. You have a reason to get up, because you're like, man, I don't want to waste time. Your communication gets sharper because you don't want to waste time. That's why I'm very direct in these videos. I get straight to the point because I don't want to waste your time. I want each minute of this video to be so impactful for you that you can get something out of it, because I don't want to waste your time. Your time watching this video is valuable. So if I can shift your perspective real quick on, hey, I need to start valuing time more. This is how I need to approach relationships. This is how I need to start like networking with high net worth people. Okay, I got to start valuing time. Boom, boom. Like, that's all it is. It's the same with relationships. You want to know the worst thing you could do is waste time. Waste somebody else's time at that. That's the worst thing you could do in relationships. But you see people doing it all the time. I don't waste time in relationships. I learn. I take that time to learn. I don't see anything as wasting time, besides just talking about things that don't matter. Experiences are not a waste of time, good or bad experience, because it makes you wiser. But when you just start gossiping, that's a waste of time. Like, all of these different things, like it's just crazy to me how people just are not aware that time is scarce. The only people who really think about this on a daily basis are people with a lot of money. It's weird. They are so obsessed with making money because they're obsessed with saving time, because they want to maximize their time on this planet. We're not living for thousands of years. We take it for granted. We wake up, we don't do anything. We want to have a lazy day, and it's like with no purpose. It's not to recharge for the next day. It's just because we were bored and we were lazy. Like, that's what the population, at least in the US, is very lazy people and very complacent. Like, you're okay. And again, I have no issues with people going to work a 9 to 5. I totally get it. But when you really think about it, this company is basing your time off of a certain amount of money. And you're not able to increase or decrease it unless you're in sales, which is why I think sales is the best career to get into, because you have control of how much your time is worth. Because you can make sales and you can control how many sales you make within a certain period of time. So your time, this is how you'll start to change. Your desire to get a job is now different, because you're like, no, time. Oh, I worked 9 hours and I made $200 or $150. Is that worth my time? And then you cut that up into hourly, because that's how we think about things. Dang, is my time really worth like $20 an hour? Like, every hour of my time is worth $20? What can $20 buy me? Can it buy me more time? Potentially. But that's what I'm saying. You got to think about these things. This is why I don't really want to work a job. Like, I'd rather own a company, because I know that my time is not tied to that as much. It's not directly tied, like, oh, per hour, I'm making money per hour. No, it's equity. Equity compounds over time. So it becomes more valuable with time. So I'm actually on the positive side of time. Versus if I'm just working a job and just collecting money every hour, that's not That's not maximizing my time. I'm not getting value. Inflation, money literally loses value over time. It's crazy. So you want to make as much money as you can, as fast as you can, so you can buy more time. Because money literally costs, money basically allows for you to get less time over time. That's the weird like juxtaposition with it. Like the value of money decreases over time, which means you can buy less time as you spend more time with that money. So it makes sense to own an asset. That literally, this is how people think about things. This is how I think about things now. It's all about time. I talk to people. If you wasted my time the first time, I never want to talk to you again. That's the worst. You literally just wasted time that I will never be able to get back. That I will literally die on my deathbed maybe and think, wow, that time that I spent, man, I could have really been doing this, could have been doing that. That's how valuable time is. So it's the biggest offense you can make somebody, which is wasting their time, because they're never getting it back. You can waste somebody's money. I'm not saying you should do this. They can always go get more money, but you can never get back time. So I'd rather spend the time with people that I love, or spend the time buying more time. Like, that's the whole goal. And you want more time on this planet to hang around people you love. You know? And people are consistently buying your time. They're buying your energy through your bills, through charging you for things. They're buying your time that you spent getting the money so that they can buy themselves more time. That's literally how this whole thing works. I hope this video changed your thought process, because once you start valuing time, it's over with. Your life will change. You'll start to look at things different. You'll start to waste less time. You'll start to learn more. You'll start to be more efficient. You'll start to attract people who are higher in value because they care about time. These time wasters that you've had in your life, they will disappear because you will never want to talk to them again. Because what are we talking about right now? You'll get so direct with them, they'll feel like you're an a-hole. Like, man, this person's mean. Like, he's rude. No, he cares about time. He's ruthless with time. But again, I hope you found value in this video. Comment, like, subscribe, share this with a friend that needs to hear this, that wastes too much time, that don't realize that time is one of the scarcest, most valuable resources that we have. And yeah, and comment. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if this changed your perspective, if you like videos like this, right? Sign up to the newsletter. It's free. You get a lot of game. We send you frequent emails just around just any topic, like all the topics that I talk about, all the pillars of being jacked, multidimensionally jacked, so that you can save time, right? Physically, spiritually, emotionally, or mentally, socially, and I said financially, right? There was one more. I always forget the last one, but you get the point. I appreciate you. We will see you on the next video.